What's up, Seventh Art enthusiasts? Welcome back to this channel, putting the kidney beans of criticism in the burrito of discourse. After 50 years, here's a re-release for The Wicker Man, that gamey satirical masterpiece of folk horror, although prog horror I think is slightly better. Folk horror, like noir, is a term that seems to have been first used by critics before the filmmakers themselves, but The Wicker Man is so much better and more distinctive than any other film that comes under this heading that it's virtually a one-movie genre. It now appears in cinemas in a 4K restoration of the complete cut. That is, with the footage that was excised when The Wicker Man was first released as a B-picture support to Don't Look Now.
Keep your appointment with the Wicker Man.
Hail the Queen of the May! Hail the Queen of the May! Lord!
This is the brilliant conspiracy chiller set on May Day on a remote fictional island off the Scottish coast, ruled over by the haughty Laird Lord Summerisle, played by Christopher Lee, whose inhabitants are devoted to sinister pagan observances to preserve the annual fruit harvest on which their economy depends. The Summer Islanders are variously polite and insolent towards a thin-lipped young copper from the mainland who's been alerted by an anonymous letter to the disappearance there of a young girl. This is the fiercely respectable Sergeant Neil Howie, wonderfully played by Edward Woodward, a stickler for the Christian religion, saving himself for marriage to his demure fiancée, and outraged and yet also faintly excited by the sensual abandonment he sees thereabouts. It's a very scary adventure in group psychopathology, carried off by director Robin Hardy with an inspired seriousness and density of imagined folkloric detail, all clearly inspired by Ir11 at some level, but adapted by Anthony Shaffer from the 1967 novel Ritual by David Pinner, an actor-turned-writer who originally developed the story for Michael Winner and whose cop protagonist may owe something to a part that Pinner played in the West End, Sergeant Trotter from Agatha Christie's The Mousetrap. Like T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland, incidentally, The Wicker Man is indebted to the images of death and rebirth from James Fraser's The Golden Bough. Apart from everything else, The Wicker Man has the greatest pub-going silent when a stranger comes in scene in cinema history. The local hostelry, The Green Man, subsides into mutinous, hostile quiet at Sergeant Howie's appearance. And then, when the sneering landlord McGregor, played by dancer and choreographer Lindsay Kemp, sends Sergeant Howie up to his room, accompanied by his comely daughter Willow, Britt Ekland, the drinkers erupt into an extraordinary smutty song about her, accompanied by a gaggle of musicians. The image of the local postmistress May Morrison, Irene Sunter, putting a frog into her daughter's mouth to cure her sore throat will never leave anyone who sees this film, and the same goes for the Maypole song and the young woman Howie sees in the ruined churchyard, smiling blankly at him, breastfeeding a child while enigmatically holding out an egg. The Wicker Man is often compared to movies that emerged around the same time. Piers Haggard's The Blood on Satan's Claw, 1971, or Michael Reeves's Witchfinder General, 1968. Although for me, that element of pure folk ritual and mystery is paramount in The Wicker Man, in a way that it isn't quite in those others. For me, the closer comparison is with Peter Watkins, particularly his docu-realist nightmare Punishment Park from 1972. In the end, Sergeant Howie meets his awful destiny without quite appreciating the ironic parallel with the service of communion in which he partakes at the beginning, the blood and body of Christ. And it was only having watched this film again that a new thought actually struck me. The anonymous letter's original author or authors addressed the missive to Howie by name. How exactly did they know about Howie and his situation in the first place? An informant in Howie's congregation? His fiancée, perhaps? Who knows? That's it once again. Please give this vlog a like and a share, and of course, do the right thing, the culturally necessary thing, and subscribe to this channel, and leave a comment to say that you have done so, and that you have therefore joined the parade of people from all over the world who are endorsing my content. Also, please, buy my book, The Films That Made Me, an edited selection of my essays and reviews for The Guardian. See you next week.